Hello and welcome back to Harriet's Custom Computer Art Plus. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a cake topper, and it's going to be a three-dimensional cake topper in a butterfly theme. So first I have my blank sheet here, and I'm going to find a font that is a nice thick font so that it will make the topper look really good. So I'm just going to go here. I'm going to change this to black. For some reason it was on white. And I'm going to look through all the fonts that I have installed on my system here until I find one that I think would look good as a cake topper that's thick and would look nice. So, okay, I like this one. It looks a little better. And every area has some thickness to it. So I'm going to right click to go back in and edit this. Then I'm going to hit edit text and I'm going to type happy birthday. I think I'll do them separately. So I take the H and just duplicate it 4 times to make happy. I'm going to do it 5 times because as you can see it shrunk it down a little bit. So I'll just get rid of this one. Well, I'll keep that one because then I could get the rest of the letters I need. So this will make up happy. And all you do is right click, edit text, and type your letter. Left click, then right click, edit text. Once again, click on it with the left, right click, edit text, and type in the letter you want it to be. And I'll do that again for my Y. Alright, so now I just need to move these close enough together where they will make up, leave enough space so you can tell what each letter is, but just move them close enough so that they will print out as one unit. And then I'll duplicate, actually I'll duplicate and make birthday 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, then I'll get rid of this one that was too big. And I'll start changing these and lining these up. Capital B. And this is a good font to use because it has the little spacers in there for you already. Hopefully the R will too. Yeah. So it gives you the little lines off the back so that you can join them, but yet you can tell what each letter is. Because they have to be touching so that you won't have a lot of work to do in attaching them together. And as you can see, this goes pretty quickly. It's not that big of a chore. Alright, so you can kind of arrange these how you think you'll like them so that they look like they make sense, and that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to bring this bee up a little bit. We do need some space in there so that you can see each letter, and I'm going to go ahead and group that. And then I'm going to group these as well by going to any corner, dragging across, and pulling them together. That's one way to do it. I'm going to show you another way if you don't want any outer border. So I'm going to shrink these down a bit and show you another way that I'd probably do it. So I'm just going to put that there for now. So I'm going to open a new text box, and I'm going to go with a different font. I'm going to go with a cursive font this time. I like Amazon. So I'm going to type happy. This one's already attached, and that looks pretty good. I'm going to copy that, paste it, write birthday. Hit done. And my phone's ringing, but I'm going to ignore it for now. I'll get it in a minute. So now we have happy birthday. And I'm just going to offset these a little bit because I want to add in a butterfly. So the reason why I'm arranging it like this is because I want this period or the dot on top of the I to be attached to something so that I don't have to find a way to attach it after the fact. So I just kind of have it set up this way. Now you can do this one like this and have the cursive letters, but I'm going to show you one more way. I'm going to take those letters and I'm going to offset them a little bit. I'm going to group them, go to Edge Effect, highlight the edge, and then I'm going to choose one of these edges. I'll go with this one just to show you how this would work. And I'm just going to bring it down until those shadows are still touching. I'm going to change the shadow to white, or I can change it to a shade of yellow. Since this butterfly has a pale shade of yellow, I think I'll do it that way first. And then I'm going to put a shadow around that by going to Special Effects Shadow, Soft Shadow, or I can go to Drop Shadow. And I think I'll do the drop shadow first. Hit done. I'm going to add a colored shape by going to Cutout in Picture, add a colored shape, and I'm going to shrink this down and then put it anywhere behind one of these letters. I'm going to shrink it down so it won't show through, and I'm going to drag it down one layer. Oh, first I'm going to hit done, and then I'm going to drag it down one layer. And I'm going to group those. I already have the little box chosen. I pulled it behind. Now I'm going to hit the CTRL or Control key, click on Happy Birthday, and then close the puzzle piece. And now this time I'm going to add a soft shadow. So that gives you that extra thick outline so that it groups the letters together without you having to overlap them or to move this the I over closer to the B. And you could do that with that lettering too. One more duplicate of this one. I'm going to enlarge it a little bit. I'm going to take this up but this time I'm going to do it in white. No, I'll do the outline in black because I'm going to change these letters to gold foil. So I've grouped them. Now I'm going to go to Cutout in Picture, Fill Cutout or Picture with a picture by clicking on the apple, and then I'm going to drag my glitter up from the bottom. And I can resize this to make the glitter smaller or larger. I think that'll do right there. And then I'm going to go around this with an outline. So I'm going to go to Edge and Color Effect, highlight Edge. I'm going to choose the solid edge. I'm going to change it to black. Scroll over some to thin it out a bit. Hit done. And now you have a glitter filled happy birthday. I'm going to go back to this one at the top and fill it with glitter, and that one wouldn't need an outline. It would just be the words happy birthday. And I'm going to shrink these down some so you can see this top one better. But these are just options on how you can do your cake topper. So I'm going to offset this a little bit like this. And you can line it up wherever you like, whichever way makes it still readable. Actually, you could even hide the Y's dot right there inside of the birthday, and I kind of like that. Now I want to make this 3D, and I want to add a butterfly to it. And so instead of leaving these letters so short here, I want to extend one a little bit so I have a place to put my butterfly. So I think I'm going to extend it right in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the top of this, so the H, so I could bring it up a bit to put my butterfly on. So I'm going to go to cut out a picture with a cookie cutter shape. I'm going to choose a square so I can just get the top of this H. I'm going to hit next and done. And I'm going to just move that up a bit like that. I'm going to make a white cutout by going to Cutout in Picture, add a colored shape, change it to white, resize it, and then I'm going to drop it down one layer so that I can cover up this double little hump over there. So I'm just stretching it so that all it will do is cover up that little hump. I can zoom in a little better so I can make sure I'm not taking out too much. Take this up more. That should do it. Bring this over a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to perch my butterfly right here. I can show you how it would look with glitter. And sometimes I do my glitter like this. I'll shrink it down and make 4 of them. So I'll make 3 more so that it makes the glitter more fine rather than the thick chunky pieces of glitter. And I can flip these around, see what makes them blend better, and looks like that makes it blend better. And now I'll go back up here to my letters. I'm going to group this and I'll drag it here to save it. And now my top layer, I can change it, and I have it chosen. I'm going to go to Cutout in Picture, Fill with Cutout or Picture, click on Picture, and I'm going to drag that smaller or finer glitter up, and I just need to resize it inside of my happy birthday here. Make sure I have all the sides still included, so I might have to stretch it out a little bit, but you can move it around until looks the way you want it. And I think that's good right there. It's showing a lot of the edges. So I'm going to click done. Now I'm going to click on my first box over here by holding control. Click on the first box. Before I do that, I'm going to go to special effect shadow before I close that out, so it gives me an initial shadow. Now I'm going to close that, go back to special effect shadow, give myself another shadow. I'm going to click done, do that again, hold control, click your square, group it, go to special effect shadow, make it darker, and I think I want to do it one more time. So I'm going to hold down control, hit that box, group it, go to special effect soft. Now to finish this up, I want to add the birthday person's name, so I'm going to add a shape by going to cut out in picture, add a colored shape. I'm going to go with a circle and I'm going to click done. I'm going to flatten out the circle by going either to the top or the bottom, and I have my butterfly down here in the tray that I want to use. Now remember, I lengthened the H so that the butterfly could rest on that H. So now I'm just going to size the butterfly to a size I think would work well with the design that I'm going for. So now I have my butterfly all set. I want to add the birthday party, the name of the person the birthday party is for. So I'm going to use my sister's name, Rita. I'm going to put that down. I just put the oval one layer down underneath the text because I'm going to have it attached to the birthday, the word birthday in the cake topper. Excuse me. So since my butterfly has some royal blue in it, I'm going to change this circle or oval to match the butterfly to stay in the same color scheme. So I'm going to go to paint and color effect, fill with a solid color, and I'm going to click around in the colors of the butterfly until I get to a shade that I like. And I like that shade. Let's see about making it a little brighter. I'm going to go ahead and close out, and then I'm going to darken it a little bit by going to paint and color effects, change color, and I'm just going to click down until I darken it up some. Making sure that it's still matching. So I'm going to click done, and I think I want it a little lighter. I already finished one. I'm going to change this color again. I already finished the original, and I thought I had recorded myself while I did it and found out that I hadn't. So that's why I'm redoing it now. So I'm going to go with that, and then I'll show you the final one that I came up with. So I wanted the oval shape to have her name in it. Now I'm going to duplicate this area because I want a dark ring around it so that everything matches together with the same color scheme. And here's the one that I finished. So I put another shape by clicking on the oval, and then I went up here to copy, which is right next to the scissors, and paste. And let me grab my glitter again because I've made this one a glitter background. So I'm going to open up my glitter again. Going to desktop, and there it is. Switch back to the one I'm working on, and I have this shape here. You see it's frozen, so I'm going to do that little workaround. Click on anything, open it up, and click done, and now I can move it again. So now I'm going to go to cutout and picture, fill with the color shape, click on the apple, which is a picture, and I'm going to drag my glitter into that oval, and I'm going to try to resize it so that it's about equal to the glitter inside of Happy Birthday. So that's pretty good. I'm going to click done, and I'm going to drag it down until it's behind the blue shape. Now I'm going to bring up the gold, and I'm going to just resize it from any corner because I want to keep the exact, I clicked the wrong one, I'm going to click back arrow. I want to make sure I'm on the gold, which is the second layer, because I want to just make it a little bigger by clicking on any other corners, so I'm keeping the same proportion. Both of my ovals will have the same proportions so that I can make it evenly surround this blue, the blue oval. So I'm just going to eyeball that, and that looks pretty good. It's pretty even all the way around. Maybe I could bring it in a little bit, or bring out the blue a little bit. Okay, so that's pretty even. I might actually shrink it down a little because I want enough of that gold edge to be showing. So I'll just shrink that down a little bit. Resize it until it looks like it's completely encircling that blue. And now I'm going to click on the gold outer edge, and I'm going to put a shadow around that. So I'm going to go to shadow. I want to special effects, shadow. I'm going to click on soft shadow. I don't like the soft shadow because it looks grainy. You can see the rough edge. So I'm going to switch to a drop shadow, but I'm going to resize it. Excuse me. I'm going to resize it a bit so that it completely goes completely around the edge of my oval. And I'm going to pull it out a little bit so that it'll be kind of even with this edge. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done, and now I have my oval all ready. Now I just need to put the name in it. So I'm going to just go to text, add text, and this time I'm going to use the Amazon text to write the name inside to make it look a little fancy. So I'm going to type the name. I'm going to resize it so I can see it, and I'm going to make the name gold. So I'm going to go to more colors, and I'm going to click around in the gold until I get a color gold that I like, and that works right there because it blends in well with the gold in the name. It's not too bright, not too dark. Now I'm also going to add a shadow around that name. So I'm going to go to special effect, shadow. I can try soft first and see if I like that, or I can go with a drop shadow. So I think I'll go with the drop shadow, give it some dimension, and instead of the dot on top of the eye, I'm going to change it and add another colored shape by going to cutout and picture, add a color shape, and I'm going to make it a heart. Then I'm going to shrink this heart down. I'm going to drag it over the eye, the dot of the eye, and I'm going to change the color by going to paint and color effect, fill with a solid color, and I'm just going to click in Rita so that I can make it that same color. I tilted the eye a little bit so that, the heart a little bit so that it will be in the slanted format like the rest of the word, and I'm also going to put a shadow around that. Going to special effects, drop shadow, and try to make it look like it's about even with the rest of the shadow, and I think that does it. Now I'm going to group these, and I'm going to put a soft shadow around Rita and the heart. So the heart is already chosen. I'm going to click the CTRL or the control key and click on Rita, and then I'm going to close the puzzle piece, and I'm going to go to special effects, shadow. This time I'm going to put a soft shadow around it and pull it out a little bit so that it's around the whole word or the whole name. So now I'm going to shrink down my oval a little bit because I think I had it a little smaller in the other one, the original. Not that small. And I'm going to flatten it out a little more. So now when I take this into Cricut, I will print 2 butterflies. So I can go ahead and do that now because I want the butterflies mirror reflections of each other so that I can have a 3D effect. So I'm going to go ahead, I have the butterfly here, and instead of trying to copy and paste it because it might make my butterflies not line up correctly, I'm going to cut this butterfly out, and then I will change the original picture to the mirror image. So I'm going to go to cut out in picture, cut out of picture with the cookie cutter shape. This way I'm going to change it to a circle, and this way when I bring it into Cricut and back them up to make my double-sided or realistic looking butterfly, they will be the same size. They won't overlap each other. So I'm going to go ahead and take that arrow out, the check mark, because I want it to stay on this page. I'm going to click done. So now I have my second butterfly. Took a little while for it to show up there. And I'm just going to put this over here on the side like that, out of the way. And I'm going to flip the original one by going to special size and position, flip, mirrored. So now I have both sides of my butterfly, and I'm going to save this as a JPEG, and I will be taking this into Cricut to show you how to finish it up. So here is the actual one that I made the topper off of, and when I went into Cricut I just made my duplicate butterfly, but it made it much easier to just duplicate it here. Alright, so I will see you in Cricut. Okay, so now I'm going to attempt to remake or make as closely as possible the cake topper just using Design Space. So first I'm going to start with the text. I'm going to change this to the same font that I used in the original one that I made in Picture It. I'm going to go down to Heather. So I'm not in Cricut fonts. I'm only using the fonts that are already on my system. So I click on System, and then it takes me just inside mine. I can actually type Heather here so that I don't have to go all the way through it. So I'm going to type Happy. Move that aside. I'm going to right click and duplicate it. I'm going to put my arrow over any of the black portion, and I'm going to try to double click until it lets me change the text to birthday. Now before I do anything, I want to fill these with the glitter pattern, and in order to bring in your personal patterns into a Cricut backgrounds, is what I mean by patterns. They call it patterns here. Go to upload, and you'll see right here it says upload a pattern. Here is where you upload your images. Here is where you upload a pattern that you want to use. So I'm going to click upload a pattern, even though I've already uploaded the glitter. I'm going to click browse, and I'm going to scroll down until I find the background I want, which is glitter, and I'm going to bring that in. I'm going to click, you can give it a name. I'm going to name it gold glitter. Usually I'll leave it the same name that it already has in my other folder, but I was using it for a particular project and it was named Olga, so I'm switching it to gold glitter. And now I'm going to go back to, I'm going to go ahead and insert this because I'm going to be working on this in a few minutes. So I'll insert this and I'll move it out of the way while I finish with this portion. So I'm going to shrink this down and move it out of the way, and I'm going to continue working with this. So now I want to change this to the glitter pattern, and let me tell you, before you make any changes to this, grouping it, flatten it, or whatever, make your background changes, because once you start doing things with this, like respacing the lettering, you will lose some of the functionality on what you can do to these to the letters. You might lose the ability to do all of these things. But while it's still separate, I'm going to go here to fill. I'm going to drop it down, change it to print. I'm going to click on the black that's right next to it. It says color here. I'm going to click on this arrow, change it to pattern. It's bringing up the patterns I already had in, so I'm going to click on the original one because that's the new one I made. And it changes the happy to the glitter. I'm going to do the same thing with birthday. Change it from no fill to print. Change the color. Click on the color. It brings this menu. I'm going to drop it down and choose pattern. And going to once again choose the gold. So now that I have these the color that I want them to be, I'm going to go ahead and line it up like I did in Microsoft Picture It. I'm going to group them together by flattening them, and now I'm going to unlock it and stretch it out some to make it wider. Now, while I had them apart, I should have resized or repositioned the letters. Let me see if I still can. Okay, great. It's still going to let me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on happy first, and I'm going to click right here on letter space. I'm going to click on the down arrow until those letters come so close together that they're touching a bit, because you need them touching. Let's spread it out as much as I can without them coming apart. So I need to go over 2. Alright, so that looks good. Now I need to do the same thing with birthday. I'm going to click down on the letter space arrow. Line space you would use if you had happy birthday all in one text box, and you can change the space between here. But since I had them in separate text boxes, I'm going to respace the letters separately, and I'm just going to keep clicking down until these start coming together. And as you can see, the Y is not coming like it should. So now that I'm going to back it up a little bit so that everything else is barely touching. And now I need to separate them so that I can move this Y over. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag it down a bit, and I'm going to see if I can still separate them. Yes, I can, by right clicking and click ungroup. Now I'm going to take that Y by itself because it separates every letter, and I'm just going to bring it over so that it's touching the A. Now I'm going to flatten it once again so that it's all one, and I'm going to take this back up so that it's part of that Y again. and I'm going to put those together and once again flatten it so that will all be one together. So now at this point I don't know how to put an edge around it inside of Cricut Design Space, so I'm just going to move on to the next part, which is this ring. So I'm going to go to shape, I'm going to make a circle, and I'm going to unlock it, resize it, and eventually I will learn how to put those edges around. I will make a point of learning how to do it so that maybe I can do more tutorials in Design Space for those of you who do not use Microsoft Picture It. So I have my shape here. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this because I know I'm going to need another one. And I'm going to just sit that one to the side and work with this one. Actually, I can first of all put both of them behind Happy Birthday. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to send it to the back. Alright, so I don't have to worry about that part later. So this one I want to be gold. So I'm going to go here once again to no fill, change it to print, click on the black box, this drop down menu, I'll click on that little arrow, change it to pattern, and bring in the gold glitter. Alright, so now the gold glitter, I'm not going to have, I think I'm going to have to rethink how I'm doing this oval a little bit so that this birthday will be able to show up better. So now I need to change this to blue, so I'm going to go here to no fill, print, click on the black square, click on the drop down menu by color, choose pattern. No, not pattern, I want this to be a color, so I'm going to go back to color, and actually this royal blue is beautiful and I think it goes really well. You may have already guessed that royal blue is my favorite color because I love using it in everything, so you probably have noticed that. Alright, so I'm just going to reposition this, and by changing it so that the bottom of the birthday is showing, I can make the gold line extremely thin at the top. I'll move birthday out the way so you could see what I'm doing. I'm just going to have a sliver of gold at the top and have more here at the bottom, just so it makes the birthday look more clear. You don't just lose it in there. You don't just lose it with the gold oval. Kind of center that so you still get the full effect of the word birthday. I need to drag it down a little bit so the blue can show through. And now I need my butterfly. So I'm going to go to upload, and I'm going to go click on view all so I can see the all the pictures that I've uploaded and find that butterfly. So I'm just scrolling down till I see the butterfly. It's right here. I'm going to click, I click it and puts the green square around it. I'm going to click insert image, and it will be popping in there at some point. There it is. So now I'm going to shrink this down a little bit, and I'm going to move it down because all I want is this butterfly. So I'm going to cut it out from the group of butterflies. So I'm going to choose a shape. I'm going to make that a circle. I'm going to unlock it, and I'm just going to drag it over so that it's covering this whole butterfly. I'm going to make it in kind of an oval, and then I'm going to drag across so that I have both of them, the black oval and the butterflies, and I'm going to click slice so that I'm just going to get my butterfly. I'm going to delete everything that I don't want, which is all of the gray and these two butterflies, and I have my butterfly singled out. Now I'm going to bring my butterfly over to this cake topper so that I can see about the size I want to use, and I might switch it to a different letter uh, because of I didn't have this area extended like I did in Picture It. So I might move it to the D so that it's not crowding up everything over here. If I put it there, it kind of blocks out the H. So you just have to play around with it and see where you like it, or whatever character or graphic you're going to use. It doesn't look horrible there, and you understand that that's still a D, so that might be a better placement for it. Now I'm going to duplicate this portion by making a new text box. Choose a font. I'm going to see if I can find by going to System, see if I can find the same font that I used. I guess some of them don't carry over into Cricut, so I'm going to either use that one or find another font, cursive font, that looks like it would work. And so far I don't see that one, but I do like Edwardian script, so I will use that one. And I'm going to type the name Rita. And before I do anything else, I'm going to change the color. So I'm going to go here to No Fill, to Print. I'm going to go to Advanced so that I can make my own shade of gold. I'm going to slide this little black rectangle over until I get close to the golds that I want, and I think that gold will work. It's showing me in this box, and that looks like it matches well enough. So I'm going to go ahead and move this up, see how it looks in the box. So yeah, that'll work. So now, let me hit the back arrow so that I won't have to reline that up, then move the Rita back out. So now I'm going to move my letters together so that they are closer together and look like a normal font or a normal word. So the ITA is good, the R is too far apart, so I'm just going to ungroup it at this point by right clicking, click ungroup, and then I'm going to bring the R over so that it's closer. I can leave that a little space. There we go. And now I'm going to flatten the word Rita, the name Rita, and I'm going to drag it into my box, my oval. Alright. And that works. Then I'm going to bring in a heart by going to Shapes, click on the heart. I'm going to go here and change the heart to a print, then change that color. I'm going to resize it, tilt it a little bit, and I'm going to put it over the eye just like I did in the one. And it's kind of cute because it looks like it's actually, let me zoom in a little bit, that I do like. I'm going to bring it over so it looks like it's just attached to that curve. And I like that. That looks good. So yeah, let me compare the two so you can see the difference in the designs. Bring this one over this way. This one's done in Design Space. This one's done in Microsoft Picture It. And Design Space is perfectly fine to design in, but I feel that I can make the designs look exactly like I picture them as I design them in my mind. I can do whatever I can think of in Microsoft Picture It, and so you can compare the two and see which one you like best. So now to print this, I want to make another butterfly. I need this butterfly. I need a reverse of this butterfly. So what I can do is I'm going to go ahead and flatten this one so I can move it out of the way. But it's all ready to print as well. So I'm going to move this one down. So I just right click, make a duplicate. I'm going to move this one out of the way, and I just want this butterfly. So I'm going to go to shape. I'm going to get a circle. I'm going to unlock it. And I'm going to bring it over, tilt it a little bit, because all I want to get mainly just that butterfly, and I'll get just a little bit of that D. So I'm just going to slide in from the side so that I have them both, hit slice, and then I'm just going to delete the things that I don't want. So now you see all I have is this little bit left, so I'm going to get another shape, a triangle, unlock it, shrink it down and flatten it, tilt it a little bit because I just want to cut out that area. So I'm going to do that slice feature again. I love slice. That's my favorite feature in Microsoft, in Design Space actually. So now I have the butterfly. So now I have everything and I'm ready to print. But before I print, I need to make this the right size. So I'm going to bring my butterflies in because it can't be any wider than 9.25 inches. So I'm going to group all of these and I'm going to change the width to 9.25. I'm going to move it up, and we'll do the same thing with this one. First I need to get that butterfly and reverse it. So I'm going to right click, duplicate. Now I'm going to flip it horizontally, and I'm going to move it back over so that I can also make this one 9.25 inches wide. Hit enter. I'm going to make sure that only what's supposed to be touching is touching, and I'm going to flatten it again. So let me zoom out a bit. Alright, and now bring this one over, and I can tilt this so that all of this can print together too. Alright, now I like to back up my the cake topper, so I'm just going to duplicate this one more time because I want to make a black image of this so that it will back up my Happy Birthday Rita. So I'm just going to click on it. First I'm going to flip it horizontally so it will be the backup for this, and then I'm going to change the color to black by going to print, change it to color, and just click on black. And now you do the same thing if you were doing the one in Design Space. Do the exact same thing. And now we're ready to make it. So we go to make it. It will show all of your sheets that you'll need to print. And if you don't know how to use print and cut, you just click continue here. You'll click send to the printer. You're going to choose which printer you want to use. I have quite a few. I have several actually. So you choose the printer you want to use from that drop down menu. You decide whether you want bleed on or off, and you hit print. And it'll print it out, and then you're ready to cut it out. So now you'll see how I assemble the cake topper. Okay, now I have everything all cut out and ready to go. I noticed on my butterfly I only got one antenna on each one, which is perfect because I'm going to put them back to back. So all I did was bend the same one over to the other side, and I'm just making it more pronounced by hitting it with a black marker so it'll show up a little better once it's on my cake topper. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is put both my butterflies back to back and hot glue them together. Oops, too much glue on there. So I'm just going to go down this side of the wing, line up my butterfly, and do the same thing on the other side of the wing. And this is so that your butterfly will appear like it's more realistic, since it's double-sided. You see both sides. And then I'm just going to put my finger right here where the butterfly's body is. And I'm going to fold it up a little bit so it looks just like regular butterfly wings. I'm going to do that on each side, pressing against the body of the butterfly. So now you have your 3D effect with the butterfly. And as you can see, for the cake topper, the letter portion or the font portion, I made a reverse copy all in black. So once I finished printing this one out, I just flipped it and changed the color in Cricut, and you will see me doing that in the beginning of the tutorial. Okay, all right. So now I'm going to put these two together. Now you want to decide where you want to have your sticks before you start putting on your glue. And I think I'm going to put the sticks in the A and the H because I want the sides of the stick to be covered. If you put it over here, like close to the edge, then both sides of your lettering wouldn't stick together. You would see a gap there, and I want it closed. So first I'm just going to get these lined up perfectly, or as perfect as I can visually make it. And now I'm going to, while I'm holding that, I'm just going to put some glue here to keep this in place. Now that I have it centered on top of each other. Not bad. Alright, so I'm going to take two of these skewers, and these are just regular, what is it, shish kebab? Sorry if you're hearing any outside noise. We're in lockdown still here in San Diego, California, so I'm not home alone today. But she's not making a lot of noise. Alright, so let's keep going. Alright, so now I'm going to line up where I want my sticks to go. And I'm going to go ahead, you can see this side is going to be higher, but I'm going to cut that off a little bit, probably here at the bottom. So I'll just line it up like I want it to go. Alright, now I see where I want it, so I'm going to put some glue behind the A. And I'm using the point side up because I want the thinnest portion of the skewer in this area, so that, like I said, it won't stand out too much once I
put all my glue in there, I'll be able to make it completely closed. And I'm going to do the same thing with the H. Just going to put a line of glue just enough to hold that skewer in place. If I can pick it up, doggone it. There we go. Alright. And I'm just going to press down just a little bit just to give it a chance to stick to both sides. Have a little time to straighten it out if I need to. So yeah, that's pretty good. Alright, so now I'm just going to finish putting my hot glue through the middle and finish up around the edge. So I'm just going to separate this enough to get some glue in there. Just press it in place. Do the same thing on this side. And I'm just hitting some of the major spots. You don't have to fill it up because you don't want it to, the glue to seep out. So just put it in some well-planned places so that it's not seeping everywhere. And then I'm going to put some over on this side, both sides, to hold the stick and to make it, that's okay, and to make the stick disappear. And press that together. Hold it a little while because it might pop right back open with the stick being so close. And now I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing with the H. So we're practically done. So now all I have to do is clean off all this excess glue that is stringing about. Alright, I think that's pretty good. And now I'm going to add my butterfly to give it the 3D effect. When I designed it, I lengthened the H so that it could sit there. You can see if you like it better there or whether you want to move it to somewhere, another spot. Trying to see. I think I might move it to right. Maybe I'll leave it there. I'm trying to make sure that that H is still visible, so I'm just going to fold up my butterfly a little more. Fix his antennae. And yeah, I think I'll just sit it right there. Everybody knows it says birthday. So I'm just going to put a little dot of glue. Get rid of that string. And just sit it right there at the top of the H. And let it set. And there you have a 3D cake topper. And I'm just going to cut this end off. It doesn't have to be exactly even, but if you wanted to make it exactly even, you could measure it and cut this end off exactly. But I'm just going to use my X-Acto knife to trim that, or scissors, because it's thin enough. I think I could even do it with my scissors. But now you have a 3D cake topper. More glue strings. Get rid of those. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell if you'd like to be notified of my videos as soon as I get them posted. My next project that I plan to start on within the next day or two is to make the selfie booth that you use your tablet, or you can use your phone to turn your phone or tablet into a selfie station. So that's what I'm going to be working on next. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.